BLG executed, and they deserve the win.
And you got to say, BLG are kind of just on fire at first stand. Their start was a little bit shaky. You know, they went down 1-2 to FearX. They've won 7 games in a row since then. They 3-0 super stomped G2, and now they're up 2-0 in this series. And if they get to finals, they're playing against G2 again. And G2 has obviously played a lot better these last 2 days. So you can't say it's a 1-1 in the series. But still, if I'm BLG and I just 3-0'd this team, I'm probably feeling pretty confident about my chances in finals as well. So if they can get the job done, we'll see if they are going to be, you know, the big favorites coming in the finals.
Yeah, BLG's met them plenty of times before. BLG very often comes out on
As
top.
their number, yeah.
So let's see if BLG can get there with a clean sweep, as we are in the champ select for game number 3. JDG have elected for first pick, and BLG have chosen blue side. Checking out our bans, JDG has got rid of the Gwen, the Pantheon, and the Lulu. Meanwhile, BLG continuing to remove the Rumble, the Karma, and the Rise. Seraphine locked in, and like you just said, you would expect Ashe to be her lane partner.
Now the question is, does Viper want to take it away? Do you just want to go Ashe Nautilus or something like that? Because Seraphine is generally seen, you know, as kind of like the weaker half of the pairing. You know, it's harder to fit with others. The other duo that people will do, though, is Seraphine MF, which is also quite good. I don't think it's as good, but because the Make It Rain, the MFE has the slow, you can kind of have the same similar synergy as you do with the Ashe passive and the volley.
Drop, automatically have the root.
Exactly. Automatically have the root, or if it's empowered, have a stun, right? So, you know, you do get that power up there. And that's the question here. This is kind of the inflection point in the draft. Are you going to steal it away? And they're at least considering it, but not necessarily having to go for it. I always think this is really interesting. Anytime a specific 2v2
like
lane
combo
becomes so popular, people have such wildly different opinions on like which half is better, which half should you draft first, should you take it away if they draft the wrong half first. It's like Zyra Khan back in the day. It's like Karma Ezreal earlier in the year. There's a lot of different examples.
And remember that in game number 1, Xin was banned out in the first rotation, so he couldn't be played. Game number 2, BLG had to make the choice. Do you want Xin or Sion? They wanted the Sion. It was the right choice. Xin gets banned out in the second half. Now in game number 3, Xin gets picked by BLG. And what you're talking about, MF, I love Xin into MF because the bullet time, you're just not going to get value against him in the ulti.
And I actually think this is really cool. So what I was going to say is not only are you stealing away the best combo with the Ashe, but Xin is generally considered the best combo with the jungler for Seraphine because you're buffing them up. Guess who else works very well with enchanters? Olaf. Olaf is a great diver here and can really effectively target someone like Ashe. Ashe is reliant on Crystal Arrow to stun you, you know, the passive to slow you, to be able to kite away. Exactly. But what happens is Olaf gets buffed up, and then you have Encore going through the Olaf in towards you while Olaf is magic immune, and we're doing a Senna lane. Oh, this is hype. I wonder if this is going to be farming Seraphine. I think it actually might be farming Seraphine and support Senna, and you have really good wave clear and really good poke as farming Seraphine. It might be AD carry Ashe and it might just be standard stuff, but I would actually really like that if it is farming Seraphine, AP Seraphine, and Enchanter Senna. I think could actually go super hard here to be able to buff up this Olaf and go for a real dive comp to super punish the Ashe. But this would actually be a bit of a masterstroke, I feel like, from BLG. Going Yorick, because generally if you go for these Enchanter comps, right, it's all death ball. It's group it up, 5v5. Yorick is going to walk down the side lane whether you like it or not.
And the thing is about the Yorick, too, you look at Olaf, and you already mentioned, he's magic immune. That's the entire point of Ragnarok. The cage doesn't technically hit Olaf. It just puts him in jail. So he can't actually run at you and accomplish what he's trying to do. So even if he shows up in that side lane, even if he got fed in the fights and he goes to try to stop you, sorry, bro, you're in jail. I'm leaving.
Yep, just drop the cage on the Ashe's head. She can walk through it, and Olaf cannot. But I always feel like split push is the best counter to these hardcore just death ball comps. I always think it's so powerful, but you are still early blind picking Yorick, and Yorick can be quite vulnerable, so they have to ban out some of the difficulty champions. Renekton, very, very difficult. That's already gone. Ambessa, difficult. That's already gone. Nara is one of the answers that's not a great answer, but sometimes people will go for it. So they're going to ban out Jax, and they're going to ban out assistance for the side lane, so he can't just go like Camille and then have a TF camp for you and put the Yorick in the dirt. So I think BLG is actually playing this really, really intelligently. I kind of love their draft, but I also kind of love the response from JDG. These are two really cool drafts.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. LeBlanc is going to be banned out by JDG, so they want to get rid of the opportunity for her to try to blow up these enchanters before they're able to be the team fight battery they need to be. Akali, so double mid lane assassin bans from JDG.
I wonder if they would consider going even more into this kind of like Olaf dive with something like a Galio. We also have to remember that Xiaoxu could play the Olaf top, right? It could be jungle or top. It can go either way. I definitely don't think you want to play it in the 1v1 because of the interaction you talked about with Yorick. But damn, Anivia also really, really strong. You can't walk through the wall.
Yeah.
And they're
terrain creation
they're
is
just
how
building walls.
It's how you, and Olaf's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
They create these terrain pieces that they're saying, okay, I don't care if you're CC immune. The rules in League of Legends are you can't walk through a wall.
Yeah.
So here's some walls.
Yeah, exactly. Man, that's got to be annoying for JDG because I feel like what they did was really clever here with the Olaf and the double enchanter bot lane. I mean, maybe it's AD carry Senna, we don't know. But, I think the theory of it is really, really clever. Like, haha, Ashe has no answers to this. And BLG's just like, haha, we'll build a house around it. Now we're playing Fortnite and Ashe is at the top of the tower. You thought you had a 1v1. And we're getting Tryndamere! Tryndamere!
Okay.
Tryndamere is a solo queue answer to Yorick because guess what Tryndamere wants to do? You want to walk down the side lane, but you actually win the 1v1 against Yorick. So it is really good. You can spin out of the cage. You can often win that all in. And a lot of times, if you just dodge the morning mist, you can just focus down the maiden and actually just kill off the maiden, and then Yorick can't really do anything in the 1v1. So this game is getting wacky at this point.
This is fun. I love this.
Yeah, and if you're going to go split push, you need to pair it with wave clear. So both teams have done that, right? If you're going to go Yorick split push, well, Anivia is going to be your wave clear. And on the other side, the Hwei is supposed to be the wave clear here for the Tryndamere split push. So a lot of really cool stuff happening in draft. These are some crazy cooks, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Wait. Is it support Aurora?
Support.
Oh, support Anivia! It's support Anivia!
Oh, support Anivia with mid lane Aurora. Okay. All right. I was like, there's the Support is not a thing.
So it's going to be support Anivia here, which On has played once in the LPL, and to my recollection, they won that game.
Okay.
So, he has brought it out before. People often, if they're going to go for this type of thing, they do it as a pairing with Poppy and whatnot, right? I think it can work in that way.
Yeah, it's the cheese ball, slam them into the wall that you make behind them.
Exactly. And I do think Anivia support, like, it can work. I think it's more of a compositional answer, right? You do have the walls you have later on, but part of the problem is with support Anivia, you don't get a lot of levels. And levels is something that's actually really, really important for Anivia because not only do you need rank ups in your damaging abilities, Anivia actually does really need rank ups in the wall.
It gets far wider.
Exactly. The wall is not very powerful at low ranks. So as support, you either have to say, all right, I'm going to max wall, I guess, and have a decent wall, but then deal no damage whatsoever, or you have to accept that the wall is just going to be tiny and easy to subvert. So I'm really interested to see, like, is he still going to try to get gold for Aurora just to have an additional level, an additional skill point? Is he going to go for, like, elixir of skill as far as his actual rune choices to get an extra skill point there? Like, what are the actual answers going to be here? Is he still going to build a tier? I think it's actually really cool.
Because you're going up against a lane as well that has Seraphine in it, which can be totally obnoxious to deal with. So if you're 1 point Flash Frost, 1 point Frostbite, and then all points wall, your trading power is going to be useless almost, I feel like.
So the last time we saw Tryndamere internationally, 2022 Worlds. As Evie played it, and it is going to be Grasp Ignite Tryndamere. So this is pretty powerful. It is going to be just AD Senna, and they're looking for a little wraparound here.
Okay, they do find GALA and Vampire. Flash out of the Seraphine, nice and early. And this is honestly, Azael, one of my favorite things about Season 2026 is the fact that the minions spawn so early. These level 1 plays, you can't just back and heal it all off. They always amount to something much greater than that. So we'll see how much value they can get. Ooh, Flash Frost for the stun there at the very end. Heal now also has to be used. So Vampire, no summoner spells 1 minute into the game.
And so what HongQ did as a response was actually pretty clever. He pulled the wave. He stacked it and pulled the wave so that more of his melee minions would get denied. So Knight just didn't miss a couple minions. He also missed a couple minions of experience. And the other thing here on this bot side is that there's a ton of sustain from GALA and Vampire. So Knight is sacrificing his lane a little bit to get down there and try to put them in an advantageous position, because if you get on the back foot, Seraphine is going to constantly poke you, and you're going to constantly have Senna just shooting Qs through the Seraphine towards you for, the double value of the poke plus the sustain.
And I do also want to mention, JDG is playing Sultan Tryndamere, and that is one of the first skins I remember hearing high-level players, like challenger players, pros, talk about how this is a skin that actually makes the character feel better because he doesn't have that hop into the air auto attack animation on crits that's easier to auto cancel. It's just a bigger slam. And so I always like to see those little tiny min-maxes on things, as BLG and JDG have brought their creativity here for this game number 3 draft. I'm so excited when we get stuff like this.
I like that skin too, but I just like it because it makes funny sounds.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds are also a good part here, as On tries to stop the blue buff farm from JunJia, but is not able to do so.
JunJia going to be able to grab this up, and yeah, On just trying to be about as annoying as he possibly can, as Knight, despite giving up that level 1, is doing well.
And as our early game is spicy in this one, remember, you can get the Act 2 Battle Pass bundle right now. Add a little bit of spice to your own life. Tell them Lola Esports sent you, so they'll give us more money. It'll be great, as JDG is trying to get some money for themselves. Long-range center route there, On to On. The Anivia just barely escapes becoming scrambled eggs.
It doesn't even use the flash, and they did use kind of their own version of this combo where Senna Q does give a slow, so the Senna Q can set up for the beat drop, of course, in that similar way. Not as easy to apply as an auto attack from Ashe or an MFE, but if you do hit that, that is still going to be there with some value. You can see this is going to be the LPL Finals rematch. It was 3-1 for BLG in the LPL Finals. The upper bracket, though, Finals was closer, was 3-2, and now we are set up for a potential 3-0, so it could be that kind of continuation of improvement from BLG, getting more and more dominant, unless JDG can turn this around and make it a little bit closer.
All right, I'm so interested in this top lane because of the fact that they're both just champions who want to split push. Sometimes you have champs who can split push but also feel like they can contribute to a team fight. You know, like Jax immediately comes to mind as a popular meta champion. But Yorick and Tryndamere are both like, I don't want to be in a 5v5.
They know what they are.
At all. They're 100% confident in their own identities as champions. They want to be in the side lane. Xiaoxu going in here as he flashes over the cage, forces the flash response from Bin. And this is the thing with the Ignite as well. Bin has to be so respectful of the combat summoner spell.
You have to be very, very respectful. He'd already used that spin in, so Bin was able to force the flash with the cage, but then the commitment of the Ignite means he does have to base. You do always have to be careful in these matchups, though, as he is now trying to get this wave crashed in, and Shun is behind him.
Yeah, Shun is coming up. Bin very low on health, completely out of mana. Shun gonna try to go after the Tryndamere here. Goes in for the free talent strike, audacious charge, wind becomes lightning. Xiaoxu's trying to get a reset here on his spin to get away, but it ain't gonna work. Shun, first blood for BLG.
Nicely done, and now you have no TP. You do have home guards, of course, but this wave should be able to crash, no problem. And that is gonna be great for Bin because it means not only are you denying the minions, it's gonna push away from you. JunJia, though, doing what he can. He's gonna take away camps on that bot side. You know that Shun went up towards top side, so he's going to lose both of these small camps, or at least the first one, and now it looks like Viper and On are going to try to defend his next.
Meanwhile, Knight going in, using the ulti here early on against HongQ. Responds with a nice point-blank fear. Knight, however, missed the initial twofold hex after he jumped between worlds there, so you're not going to really threaten lethal onto HongQ. Neither flash spent by the mid laners. But a 1-0 game for BLG. They're not even the gold advantage of the first blood ahead, so JDG building some slight leads for themselves in terms of the farm.
Going to be feeling pretty good about that. And one thing I will say for Xiaoxu is this is pretty dicey.
Yeah, HongQ forced to flash away there, because if you get the twofold hex, that damage plus the additional damage from the electrocute could have potentially been a lethal situation, as On and Viper continuing to just get abused down here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, Anivia is a range support, but not exactly a lane dominant one, so it is not going to be too fun, but Viper is doing a good job farming.
Yeah.
Maybe force the egg, but we'll be able to res, not really under too much threat, but I was just going to say, I mean, it is good for Xiaoxu that Bin did not get the kill, right? So, yes, it sucks that you died. Yes, it sucks you lost some minions, but at the very least, Bin did not get the kill, so it's not going to swing this matchup out of control. But Bin still got a really good early buy here. With the plated steel cap, it's going to be very effective.
Beautiful job from Shun over the wall. I love it when junglers utilize the Raptor Pit gank in the mid lane when the enemy mid laner's under turret. He hits the wind becomes lightning. They know there's no flash on the Hwei, and they accomplish the dive there. It is BLG plus 7. 700 gold, but JDG snags the first Drake for themselves. It is Ocean Drake #1 at 6.5 minutes in, so that's going to feel good for your laning phase.
I mean, it kind of just feels like Shun is just running this series, man. He has been so effective, and, well, JunJia hasn't really done anything wrong. You know, he's just power farming, you know, he's doing his thing. Shun has affected both the soul lanes, right? He's been able to really make a big difference, and that is tough. Juan is getting low. Remember, he has no egg.
Yeah, he does hit the Flash Frost there. Close range. Vampire trying to get away, but a nice wall. Flash away from the high note, too. On with the outplay. He spreads his wings wide, and the gusts blow Vampire straight back to the fountain.
Yeah, Viper getting a kill now. Not what you want to see. As JDG, it is now 1.3k in their advantage. You're pushing in on that top side, and you can see the Maiden even harassing down Xiaoxu, who does have that early Vamp Scepter, so we'll see exactly how he wants to build.
Yeah, the Vamp Scepter is at least going to give him some sustain dealing with that constant harass from the Maiden. Oh, no. HongQ gets hit by a max range Enchanted Crystal Arrow into the perfect Flash Frost follow, and Between Worlds sends him to the underworld. Knight picking up his second kill of the game on Aurora.
I mean, BLG are just too good, man. What can you say? They're doing everything right. You know, the level 1 from Knight to put the bot lane ahead. Then the gank from Shun to put top lane ahead. A gank from Shun to put mid lane ahead. Then Viper gets a 2v2 kill. Uses that prio, gets the ulti down mid lane, where guess what? Anna's shown up to put Knight even more ahead. It is just this synergistic play of every time they have built themselves some time to get active on the map. They build a little tempo, and they just use it to the best possible effect. And it is looking tough. I mean, you never want to call a game this early, but BLG are firmly in the driver's seat.
And I will say that, you know, you say you don't want to call a game too early, especially in a game like this one that has these two side lane champions. Leads can mean less than they normally would because so much of the game is going to be about which one of those side laners is dominant. And yes, it is control over the wave right now for Bin, but you can see it's only a 200 gold lead. So if JDG can turn things around, enable Xiaoxu, the Encore misses there on hugging the wall, making sure he stays to the side of that one, does not get caught out. And not only do they not find the play they want, now you can kind of just like breathe a little easier. You know there's not that big engage in the bottom lane, as Shun still has control over the top side here. He'll pick up the crab. JDG might have got the first Drake, so that means there's no reason for them to really be worried about what's going on in the bottom side river right now, as JunJia is going to take his recall, go back, purchase his Phage, and Shun will take the grubs.
I mean, Anivia is so comically slow, and you know he's on no boots, but Anna is just playing it really, really well. He looks so comfortable here. And it was a pretty hard force from the JDG bot lane. You know, GALA, I feel like maybe tipped his hand a little bit because he's not even picking up souls. He's walking past the souls to just run straight at the Anivia. And they look for this Encore with JunJia behind him, but can't find it. So the flashless, eggless Anivia gets to live another day.
It's just like, this champion might as well be a target dummy. It can barely move, no summoner spells, no passive, but On is very good. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Viper with his second arrow from a mile away, and it's another kill for Knight. Hits him with the thumbs up. Thanks, buddy.
Viper's looking like Steph Curry down in that bot lane, brother. He's just hitting the long-range shots after shots. And it's HongQ who is unfortunately getting dunked on as a result. And it is Knight now, 3 early kills on the Aurora. And this is not just any Aurora, this is Knight's Aurora. That is terrifying. You know you have to reverse sweep, and now you're going to have to try to do it with some very squishy characters on your team against a very, very, very fed Aurora. He walks back, plays with vision, you know, shoots it from an area that he knows is going to be out of vision. Just now it's seen, and there's no flash, no real way for him to respond. HongQ's behind him, and Shun is coming in on the side. There's just nothing HongQ can do.
That guy's happy. He's loving these arrows. Probably almost as much as BLG is loving these arrows. Man, great shot from Viper. Really just enabling his mid laner. And you're talking about, yeah, this is Knight's Aurora. I feel like Aurora is one of those champions that you really see a lot of disparity between good performances and poor performances on it, just because you have to have mastery of the movement that the ulti does.
Look at this guy. He's canceling his base twice under his tier 2 tower.
This is psychopath behavior from On in the best kind of way. He's like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just you're not going back. You don't have tempo. You don't get to control anything here in this game. Xun forces the flash out of Vampire. Honestly, that close to the turret, when they're that scared of you that they feel like they have to flash, you know that BLG's in total control.
I mean, this is a supported Anivia with no boots going behind the tier 1 tower while the mid laner is there to cancel the Olaf's base twice in a row under his tier 2. If that doesn't tell you how the game is going, I don't know what will.
Yeah, this is a little bit wild as Knight. Oh, there's the twofold Hex. He does not have enough distance to finish the potential kill onto HongQ here just yet. As BLG with a 2,000 gold lead right now. Top lane still mostly even. The majority of the lead so far in this game is Knight and Xun, the beneficiaries of those arrows from Viper into the mid lane.
And I feel like at this point for JDG, this is a game where you're probably going to get one fight. And if that fight goes well, you can claw your way back in. If it goes bad, you are done. Look at the gold grind here, Coinbase gold grind. Massive gold lead here for Knight. JDG at least got the first dragon, so if they can continue stacking this, you get a good roll on Soul. Maybe that could help you out. Cloud Soul, something like that would be super effective, but BLG want to contest.
Okay, JDG decide they're going to commit 4 men to this one. Remember that Tryndamere has no teleport to try to join these things. That's one thing you got to be concerned about, but there's no TP on Bin with the Yorick either. Arrow flies out, but it goes straight between the uprights. Xun wants to try to steal it away, but no, Knight's the one who gets it. Xun in the middle of everybody, staying alive for now, but he does eventually fall. HongQ's got to be careful. He's trapped inside the Glacial Storm. Vampire dies to the volley, and Knight's going further forward. He wants to see if he can pick up GALA here too. Not quite enough damage for that one, but we do get a 1-for-1 in kills, and the objective stolen away by BLG is tragedy for JDG.
That really hurts. I mean, Knight gets it, and now they're not even forced to come to these objectives anymore, right? And you are the team that has really low engage. JDG needs to force them to come to him so that they can actually find these fights, find effectiveness with the Olaf. And BLG are kind of just cornering them from multiple sides. They're waiting for Knight. Knight did not have the Between Worlds, so I definitely like that they force here. I do think it was a good angle. The Ashe arrow missed, and you're thinking, all right, maybe they can make it happen, but Knight combos his twofold Hex with the Smite from Xun, finishes it off, gets that last hit, then so many low health bars there. Able to pick up the kills, push him back, and Knight back to live, pushing HongQ out of lane once again as Xun is threatening him.
Yeah, HongQ has to play so afraid now because the wall from On forced his flash in the last fight, or he would have certainly died.
Again,
oh,
man.
No. And he just... This is the most obnoxious Anivia of all time. And seeing the skill order, thank you so much, observers, for this, because it does kind of show what I was expecting, which is 3 points into the Frostbite for the laning power, for the trading capability, and now he's putting points into the wall because he knows, okay, once we get into the bigger fights, I need the long extra distance on the wall to make sure this is relevant.
And especially, I mean, you're going Solstice Slay, you're getting an early Oblivion Orb, you're not doing damage, right?
Right, it's utility Anivia.
Exactly, you're utility Anivia, you're trying to be really, really annoying, and now he picks up the Swifty boots, so his job is just going to be running around, harassing them. And Xiaoxu does have his Hydra, so has that completed. So you're going to have a lot of sustain, you're going to have a lot of wave clear. But the problem is when, even if you have a winning matchup in a 1v1, when your opponent has winning everything else, they don't have to interact with you. You know, if I'm Bin, I'm saying, no, I'm never going to trade with you. I'm just going to hit the wave. Like, I'm not going to give you a chance to get a solo kill because those are the only real ways that I think JDG get back in top lane.
Okay, they might have a pick onto the bird, though. The punish on the Anivia, not quite enough, even with the Airy. On drinks his potion and just walks away with 30 HP. The Anivia annoyance comes on back. This is the most hair-pulling experience if you're JDG. This stupid Anivia is in your jungle all game, and then you get him down to literally 1% HP, and he just flaps away.
Yeah, you'll remember the day you almost killed On, but for him, it was just another Saturday.
Just another day on the Rift. JunJia showing up mid lane here, wants to go after Viper. This is what you draft the Olaf for, but immediately Viper firing back there with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Xun shows up, and the Bodyguard guarantees the VIP. The first 3 letters of his name. Gets away.
Ooh, I like what you did
I didn't even mean to do that. That was an accident. That felt cool.
Viper and On both have above 86% forward percentage this game, which is pretty insane, as Lana's just been living in the enemy jungle, which turns out means it's past the halfway point.
Forward percentage, again, for people who aren't super familiar with the more less known stats, is being past the halfway point in the lane. So they're shoved up. They're constantly making sure that they're putting the pressure on their opponents. Xun's going to secure the Rift Herald now too. So overall, BLG has got most of the objectives here in this game. They secured all 3 grubs. They secured the Herald. They stole away that second Drake from JDG. So 3 out of 4 ain't bad, as Knight now goes in after HongQ yet again between worlds, setting it up. Proto Belt to try to knock it down, but HongQ, oh no, the weirding flash, beautifully placed from Knight to guarantee that he gets the kill on the enemy mid laner, takes the double buffs along with it. GALA getting stopped by the wall here for a second. Remember that On still has his egg if they want to try to continue chasing. JunJia's there, and that's what they got to be cautious of. The Olaf almost has his ulti ready to go again, and that is Xun just going way too far. Overplays his hand, gets overzealous. On taking the blast cone to get away. Flash Frost does stun JunJia as he tries to chase after Viper. Flash for flash. Undertow misses. JunJia goes for the guess, and he guesses wrong as Viper runs left. The axe flies right, and it's a single kill there. Finally, JDG get a punish for all the aggressive movement from BLG.
Can't blame Xin, though, because he did have the most powerful member in the game, the support Anivia behind him.
Support Anivia with Swifty boots and an orb.
Exactly. He was confident that he had the follow-up he needed after seeing the mayhem that On has been putting in on this game. Has been looking good, but yeah, Xun goes a bit too far, does give one over, as Xiaoxu will be pushed back to base, or back to tower, excuse me there, but we'll just be able to constantly sustain up. Viper, though, the big winner here, knocks down the first tower of the game, 17 minutes in, so pretty late first tower, but it is, you know, massive lead for Knight, who got another kill on that bot side, and it is nearly 1,000 gold for Viper as well.
I want to try to find On here, but both spells miss. He just walks away from everything. On is just, he's feeling it, man. He's loving the support Anivia this game. One thing that I can at least say for JDG, though, is the gold lead for BLG, although it's slightly larger than it was, you know, 6 minutes ago or so, it's still not growing a ton, so it's not like they're just completely hemorrhaging the game. But the problem is the turrets are low HP. They already lost the one in mid lane. They're about to lose the one in bottom lane. BLG has control over the bot side river. Their jungler's nowhere nearby, so this is going to be another Drake going the BLG direction. And now Bin has fully purchased his Trinity Force. Up until this point, he was dealing with the full item Tryndamere, where he was still having components himself because he stopped off for both steel caps, excuse me, and executioners. That means a really delayed first item power spike. Now he's caught up, though, so the Yorick's going to feel that much better.
Yep, is going to be feeling a lot stronger as a result here. So they're just going to send HongQ up towards that top side for now. Looks like Knight should be able to finish off this tower on bot side, though, so that is going to be even more problematic. And I gotta say, this is the Anivia support game that is going to spawn thousands of inters around the world.
It's also a weekend right now, Azael, so that means everybody's
queuing up as we speak.
Everybody's not at school. Everybody's not at work. Everybody that's watching First Stand is about to queue up some support Anivia.
Hey, I should play some support Anivia and solo invade over and over. That'll go well in my game.
This is what at least one of your teammates is thinking when you press queue up right now. So if you're at the edge of, you know, like a 99 LP type of situation,
maybe ban Anivia, because they could be on your team.
Ban the Anivia.
They could be on your team.
You might want to let that one slide this time, as Bin will be able to just take out this tier 1 turret here in the top lane. Now the gold is starting to run away a little bit more. We're almost 3,500 ahead on the BLG side. It's just about 20 minutes into the game, so Baron is going to be spawning here soon. I don't think that BLG is going to try to rush Baron or anything crazy like that, but we do have 2-item power spike here for Viper. Kraken Slayer and Phantom Dancer, both fully completed now. You can see he cashed in on the Cull for the extra gold infusion. Over on the other side, GALA does have static, plus the Hex Optics.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. That was going to be the third one if he didn't flash. So all 3 arrows aimed at HongQ, kill, Summoner Spell Force. These arrows are locked on target.
Yeah, and HongQ is that target. Has just been bullseye after bullseye there for Viper. Xiaoxu does have a couple items completed. You know, he does have the Quick Blades done. He's working in towards his Berserker Greaves. This build, you know, when you do get the Quick Blades, your cooldowns are so low because you're getting the cooldown refund on your spin just from crits, and then you're also getting the cooldown refund from the Quick Blades passive. So you're getting a lot of mobility, a lot of spins to be able to try to chase people down. But he's just not even getting a chance to really interact. You know, they're doing a couple little short trades here and there between him and Bin, but The Tryndamere has not really been a part of much of anything. You know, did have that one kind of pseudo all-in where they traded flashes, then died to one gank, and then besides that, it's just been a farm fest while the rest of the map loses.
All right, Rift Herald summoned up, and this is one thing I did want to pay attention to this game because last game BLG's Herald was kind of just a sadness Herald. They just had to summon it up because it was running out. They got no value. This time around, very different story. JunJia caught on the wrong side of the wall, taking a bunch of damage as Xun goes in, and they kill the Olaf. He can't be immune to the wall. Now HongQ's in danger because remember, he doesn't have a flash. The shield is enough to keep him alive for now. No, but the double kill over to Xun, as now they're going to look to maybe make it a triple. Xun taking a lot of damage, though. GALA over the wall finds the kill, so at least they get one back, but BLG always gets more.
Yeah, they're just getting more and more here. JunJia was trying to hold on to that Ragnarok for so long, but he just gets walled off. He's getting whittled down, and then the tower gets killed beside him, so Xun has nothing dissuading him from going forward there. Goes straight in on him, finishes him off. HongQ got a massive combo across multiple members. You hit this Bottomless Bear, snap them in. And Xiaoxu do anything? No, I mean, he's just going to have to retreat.
Yeah, Xiaoxu spinning away, tries no, but again, the cage, the placement on these has been great from Bin. He's always catching Xiaoxu just at the very edge, but now Xiaoxu wants to turn it around. He drops the Ignite. He's going in after the Yorick, but once again, it's the MVP from BLG. Support Anivia there with the wall to make sure there's no kill for Xiaoxu.
Yeah, there with the wall, there with the stun, as that could have been an angle for Xiaoxu, because even though Bin has flash, that's a long lane, and again, I touched on it, such low cooldowns from that spot. But yeah, great combo from HongQ. They're going to look for Knight.
Yeah, Knight with the flash over the wall gets away. He'll be safe for now. 4-0-3 on the Aurora. No deaths and 7 out of 9 kill participation. So really great game for him. Again, a lot of that set up thanks to Viper's arrows. Really, I don't think I have a complaint how anybody on BLG has been playing this game. Xun had that one play around the enemy blue buff where he jumped in way too deep. That was about the only single mistake. TP coming in now from BLG. They know that the Tryndamere does not have his ulti. This is your chance to punish him, maybe find that kill, spin away over the wall though. Plenty of mobility on this champion. It's one of the things that makes him so obnoxious, but hey, Viper does no wrong with his ultis. The Ashe arrows are point and click this game.
Yeah, it's just another day at the range. Bullseye after bullseye after bullseye for Viper. He has been on fire in this game, and I gotta agree with you. BLG playing almost perfect. Knight is behind them. They don't know Knight's behind him.
Okay, Viper's getting run down though. Nice kill coming out there for JunJia as Xun puts the pressure into the back line and Vampire dies. JunJia going after On, but now the Olaf is isolated. He has no Ragnarok. The cage is there, and Ben sends him straight to jail. Nice pickup there from BLG. They do finally lose their AD carry for the first time, but just like last time, BLG gets more.
Exactly. I mean, Knight was in such a good position. It was good that they did go in, but now 23 minutes in, they are on the Baron. Yorick crushes through Baron so quickly. They can do a lot here with that maiden damage, and BLG does not look like they'll be contested. I mean, JunJia's dead for a long time, and no one else here is even moving over into the area, so this one is just going to be gone. They're already up 5K. And the Dragon probably not even going to be taken, so we can see them one more time. BLG was laying a trap. You could see Knight was moving over behind them, and they were trying to set up for this pincer from Knight. But JDG find a good angle here. Ragnarok is popped. The wall was placed incorrectly there from On. Couldn't find the right angle to actually wall off this Olaf from him. Knight gets into the back line, though, pushes back the Senna, and then JunJia is just sectioned off from his team. Bin commits the flash. Don't know that he really needed to, but they wanted to get that kill quick so they could go to Baron.
And Baron they got, my friend. 5,500 gold lead now. The control over this bottom side river means that there's no contest for this Drake. That's 3-1 on the Drake count. Sole point from BLG. Red Bull Baron power play still for the majority of that time, or 2 minutes and 15 seconds, where BLG are going to have all this extra pushing power. They're in the enemy jungle. They're stealing away the blue buff. It's so hard for JDG to even breathe at this point.
You know, I was saying in draft, you know, is he going to go for an Archangels? Is he going to go for Aurora? It's Proto Belt Anivia, of course.
Of course. What are you even talking about, Isaac? Why not go? Because it helps him do extra troll stuff.
Oh,
another nice arrow onto HongQ. Not enough insta-kill him here just yet as the Dawning Shadow goes through, and it's a ton of burst down onto the Aurora. That's a huge shutdown on the Knight, but what about On and Viper back towards JunJia? They get one in return again. Defensive ulti from Xin to stay alive, but he's rooted up underneath the tower. That last shot will not have enough damage to kill him. Meanwhile, the Yorick split pushing over in mid lane, trying to make sure that BLG maintains multiple points of pressure. The shutdown on Knight was huge, and that's his first death the entire game, but Bin just continues pressuring mid. HongQ tries to move forward. The Severing Bolt doesn't hit On, and it looks like BLG's push will be stopped for now, but even after they recall, they still will have a little bit more time to use the Baron.
Yeah, Bin just going armor stacking here. Frozen Heart second. Knows his job is just to never die to this Tryndamere. Xiaoxu working in towards that last Whisper, but just doesn't feel like he's ever going to get to a point where he's really relevant in this game because Bin is just never going to give him the opportunities to find those all-ins. So we can see this fight one more time. HongQ gets caught by the arrow. They do have a nice CC chain, but look at the root. It's all about the Senna root landing onto Knight as he goes forward to get the damage down on the HongQ. That lands, so all the follow-up is there. The encore from Vampire, the full combo from HongQ. They do burst him down, and look how long these roots last. As they had the Seraphine route into the Hwei route. They had all kinds of routes coming through and holding Xin under that tower for a long time. Almost were able to get him, but couldn't quite finish him off. And now it is Soul Point, 6K gold lead. And JDG are going to have to try to find an opportunity to make their move. And it's going to have to be an incredible one to give them a chance of coming back.
2,000 gold lead for Knight, 2,000 gold lead for Viper, 1,000 gold lead for Xin. And this is just a problem, man. Xiaoxu, I was talking about how gold leads mean less in a game that has a very high emphasis on split pushing because the split pusher can just disrupt so much of the normal momentum. But Xiaoxu is not in a spot where he's able to really do a whole lot. Frozen Heart completed on Bin. Yeah, JunJia's just smushed into the terrain. It's kind of a moment where it's so close that he doesn't actually have viable pathing, either left or right, so his character just kind of glitches out and stays there.
He has become one with the tower.
Yeah, now I am tower, and tower is me. It's not exactly where you want to be. 6,000 gold lead for BLG as a team. Still no deaths for either Bin on the Yorick or On's powerful Anivia.
Yeah, I mean, the Anivia is definitely the true goal, you know? Elder, Baron, those are okay objectives. Support Anivia, that's the real prize. At this point,
Support Anivia creates objectives around himself. Anywhere Anivia is, that's the objective.
Yep.
Split pushers are down in the side lane now as Bin and Xiaoxu are both level 17 on their champions. Obviously the highest leveled in the game because of the state of the top lane with the quest. HongQ over an entire level behind Knight. It has been so rough for him in this Hwei game. When you pick a control mage and the enemy team just targets you constantly, especially with things like the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, which are always a threat that you constantly have to be mindful of, it can become such a problem if they land the shots like Viper has been. You just get put so far behind.
Yeah, I mean, Viper made a pit stop for the Serpent's Fang because there's tons of shielding, obviously. You know, the Dawning Shadow, the Seraphine shielding, Hwei can shield, Olaf has a shield, but now still has the IE. So even with that, he still gets the IE faster there than GALA and is going to be very, very strong right now. Knight is working in towards that fourth item. This team is ready to go. You can see Xin has an elixir in his pocket, knowing that, hey, if we get Soul, it's probably game. We've probably won the series, and On just going to cycle through that barrier because his flash is back up with Spellbook.
Okay, so we've got the cleanse for On. We've got so much damage on the carries of the BLG squad. And you can see in the inventory of Bin here, he does have the Caulfield plus the pickaxe, so he is getting close to having his third fully completed item as Xiaoxu just continues clearing waves. This split push state is kind of just locked forever in purgatory, as they'll both just, like you said earlier, you kill the wave, you don't engage with the other guy. But when the other guy has more other guys that come to help him, all of a sudden it's harder to not interact. As Knight nearly insta-kills GALA. Xun's coming in to try to finish the job. Ulti for the defense as On and Knight continue to back up their jungler, but it's a lot of damage onto Xin, and he's shut down. Nice kill for JunJia. GALA still barely staying alive now as well. 4v5 on the rift. Xiaoxu tries to flash over the Flash Frost. He goes after Viper, but again, it's On with a beautiful wall that the Tryndamere cannot get through. And Arrow to the heart takes his life, as now a flash out from Vampire keeps the rift to 4v4. Baron's gonna spawn in 5 seconds. The Mountain Drake is already up, but Xin is off the map. Finally a route onto the Anivia, but they can't follow up because the wall blocks the entryway. Bin is down to 1/3 HP, but remember, he doesn't have his teleport either, so he's just going to go back into the bottom lane to re-split push. BLG knows that, yes, this would be Soul, but even if JDG takes it, they're going to have the pressure from Bin at the same time to break into the base. On and Viper still hanging around, still seeing if maybe they can harass this enough as they fire out another arrow into HongQ, and Knight arrives with the teleport right behind him. He shouldn't have enough damage to take this kill. It ends up sealing the fate of the BLG mid laner instead, but the entire time, Bin is in the enemy base. The damage from the minions should be enough to finish off the tier 3 turret. So the fight actually favors JDG.
They're going Baron.
The arrow play ends up being a blunder as Knight gets punished trying to kill HongQ, and we'll see if JDG can take this objective. This would be huge.
I love it. You got to flip it. You are behind. You got to take risks, and Knight is dead with no TP for a long time. This might be their best shot.
HongQ coming around on the flank. Viper and Ban approaching here as well. HongQ has to flash. The wall would have sealed his fate otherwise. As Shun goes into the middle of everybody and GALA's already down. Now the Olaf tries to flash into the backline, goes after Viper and finds him. Vampire's trapped in the pit. It's a double kill as Shun kills the Olaf. And now the Tryndamere is trapped in the middle of everybody. He's unkillable for now, but he's got to get something. And all he gets is buried in the river. BLG, they're just too far ahead. They stop the Baron attempt. They complete the Baron take themselves. And only HongQ is left standing on JDG, but not Yvonne has anything to say about it. He finally runs out of mana.
Yeah, not going to be able to get him. JDG, it was a valiant effort. They got a kill. They got a dragon. They felt that that was going to be their moment to try to make something happen. But it took so long for Xiaoxu to get there. And GALA, without summoners, could not stay alive for long enough for that Tryndamere to arrive, for that Tryndamere to really make a difference. And by the time he finally got there, he just gets CC'd, he gets knocked down, and now JDG back against the wall here. Down 8K, they did stop the Soul, but they gave over the Baron. We can watch it one more time. This is that initial play. HongQ gets pushed out on the side. They just can't buy time. Look at GALA. GALA gets sectioned off, burst down immediately from Shun. HongQ is forced to flash thanks to the Anivia, so he's not even involved. So the Olaf is completely sectioned off. By the time Xiaoxu arrives, just look at this. He gets caged in, they pull back, he gets knocked up by the Baron, then stunned by the Anivia. He just doesn't have enough time to do anything.
And even when HongQ tried to get back into the fight, On just walls him off again. HongQ's contribution to the fight was he managed to hit Spiraling Despair on Olaf that he can't kill, and he Magma Fissured the Baron. That's it. He wasn't really able to do anything else. And so now BLG with an 8,000 gold lead, with everybody back alive again, are once more looking to breach the base. Remember, the bottom lane inhibitor is exposed because of Bin's split push earlier, as we'll see pressure onto the mid and top lanes for the time being, as everybody in BLG is grouping up, but Knight gets caught! A big blunder from the mid laner, gets punished, and that's gonna slam the brakes to the Baron push.
Knight tried to go across the veil, he tried to angle it so he could hop over the edge, but instead he face planted into the wall. So he didn't actually get over the wall there, and he had his flash, but at that point he had already been rooted up, so it's too late. He tries to go between worlds, tries to bounce back, gets picked. So what was a pretty flawless game from him. He's gotten picked a few times. Now JDG know, okay, we have a slight advantage on the map. We got to push. We got to try to make something happen. But the Anivia is so annoying at just stalling out any and all of these plays.
I'm really loving, I know we've been joking about it a lot, but I'm actually loving the support Anivia pick in this game.
It has had crazy impact, unironically.
Yeah, it's so good against Tryndamere and Olaf. We've seen how good it is against HongQ as well.
So this is what I was calling out. He tries to hop over the edge, but he angles it not quite right. So he bounces off the wall. And because he had already been hit by a spell, you can see where they are in Viz. You see that little flicker when you hit them with a spell in Viz, so he gets rooted up, and they do get that kill. Knight had been deathless, but has been caught a couple times. BLG still fully in control. Soul's going to be on the table in a minute 20, so that's what you're looking forward to. Something we haven't touched on, though, GALA's at 120 souls, and he is closing in on his IE, so if he can get to Infinity Edge, I mean, his range is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
At a certain point in the game, I mean, we're not there yet, but at a certain point in the game, he doesn't really care about you walling him off because he's just going to shoot over the wall.
Yeah, that's the big problem. His stacking is on point here so far. At 25 minutes, the average amount of stacks in Tier 1 play is about 76. Obviously, we're very far past 25 minutes at this point, so I don't think a lot of times we might not even get get to 35 minutes in a game these days. So.
He has a big number, regardless of if it's on pro pace or behind pro pace or ahead of pro pace. That's a big number. 120 is very, very scary. Normally when you look over and you see Senna's got 100 stacks, you start sweating a little bit because it is just infinite stacking. It's not only additional AD, it is range, which is one of the most powerful stats in the entire game.
Range and move speed. That's the, I know that you and I have had that conversation a lot, but it's just like, yeah, that gives you the opportunity to deal damage when they can't deal damage to you.
Exactly.
So, BLG with control over this bottom side river for now. Again, on just being as obnoxious as possible. 10 seconds until the Drake spawns. It is Mountain Soul, again, for BLG.
No cleanse now from GALA. So he just forced that. That is actually a really big deal. If he gets hit by any CC, it could be a game ender.
Okay, still just shots being fired back and forth. Nothing big committed here just yet. Bin is also joined up for the fight. You can see Xiaoxu on the side here as well. The Tryndamere almost level 20. The Yorick is level 20 as the Dragon is started by Viper. The Ashe has a lot of DPS for this. And remember that On is just going to use walls to keep everybody from JDG away. Buy a little bit more time for BLG to secure the Mountain Soul. And yes, they've got it. Xiaoxu wants to go in. He's going after Viper. He tries to spin forward, but the flash over the wall for the AD carry keeps him alive. Flash over the wall from On to try to respond. Killing spree for Shun as they take out the top laner. JunJia dies trying to go forward. Now it's a 5v3 for BLG. GALA barely missing, getting stunned out there by the Flash Frost. Arrow shoots out. Arrow collides. Vampire tries to be the sacrificial lamb for his team. He flashes forward. He wants to take the blast cone to try to get away, but no! Vampire falls and the sun shines bright for BLG. HongQ's golden, and it'll just be a trophy for the LPL #1 seed. Double kill for Viper, and it's a 5v1 push. GALA Senna, there's not enough souls on Summoner's Rift to get you out of this one. Bin will chase him back to the fountain. There's no Summoner spells available. The Nexus turrets will be the next target. The first time they fought it was 3-2 BLG. The finals was 3-1 BLG. And now at first stand, it's 3-0 BLG. They'll make their way to the finals tomorrow to face G2 and try to become first stand champions.
They just keep getting better, and what a series from On. This guy was incredible.